Today, we're diving deep into a foundational story, one that's not just about monsters and magic, but about the epic battles that we all fight, right inside ourselves. I mean, really think about that. You're a hero. You just won the biggest war of the ancient world. But getting home turns into a 10-year ordeal. And not because you got lost, but because the gods are furious, monsters are very real, and your own biggest flaw just keeps tripping you up. This is the story of the Odyssey. So how has this story stuck around for 3,000 years? Well, to really get the journey, you have to understand that at first, it wasn't a book at all. It was designed for something way more immediate, way more human. Now, yeah, it was eventually written down by a poet named Homer, but for centuries, the Odyssey was an oral tradition. It was told, out loud, from person to person. In a world where most people couldn't read, a story had to be absolutely unforgettable just to survive. That's why it's so jam-packed with these vivid monsters, meddling gods, and really clear, powerful moral lessons. It had to stick in your head. Okay, so every great story needs a great hero, right? And the hero of the Odyssey is one of the most complex of all time. He's not your typical, muscle-bound warrior. His power comes from a totally different place. Let's meet Odysseus. He's the king of a small island called Ithaca. And while other Greek heroes like, say, Achilles or Hercules, they rely on their crazy strength, Odysseus's superpower is his mind. He is, by all accounts, the smartest man alive. But here it is. This is the core conflict of the entire story. His greatest weapon, his incredible intelligence, is directly chained to his greatest weakness. A massive, massive ego. His need to prove he's the smartest guy in the room is the very thing that's going to bring him to his knees. And believe me, we do not have to wait long to see this flaw in action. His entire journey home gets completely derailed almost right away by a single, catastrophic mistake born directly from that pride. This is the big question of the whole epic, right? The war's over. The other Greek kings are sailing straight home. So why is Odysseus cursed to just wander the seas for a decade? Well, the answer is all about the relationship between gods and mortals. So you really have to get into the mindset of ancient Greece. The gods weren't just these distant figures. They controlled everything. And the one thing they really, really hated was when humans got too arrogant. This idea of hubris, or just excessive pride, was the ultimate sin. And Odysseus, well, he loved to show everybody just how clever he was. And this is where his intelligence is just dazzling. He gets trapped in a cave with a man-eating cyclops and comes up with this genius plan. He tells the giant his name is Nobody, then he gets him drunk and blinds him. So as he and his men are escaping, the cyclops is screaming for help, but all he can tell his brothers is that nobody is hurting me. It's a perfect, brilliant escape. But he just can't help himself. He's safely on his ship, sailing away, and his ego completely takes the wheel. He needs the monster to know who it was that outsmarted him. So he turns back and he yells his real name, Odysseus, king of Ithaca. And that one sentence, that single moment of unbearable pride, it seals his fate for the next 10 years. Because that Cyclops wasn't just some random monster. He was Polyphemus, the son of Poseidon, the god of the sea. By taunting the son, he basically declared war on the father, the very god who controls the ocean he needs to cross to get home. So Poseidon's curse, it isn't about a quick death. Oh no, it's about a long, slow, painful education. And the trials Odysseus is about to face aren't just physical monsters. They are psychological, philosophical tests of his character. So first, they land on the island of the Lotus Eaters. The danger here isn't a monster, it's a fruit that offers this blissful apathy. It makes you forget everything you care about, your home, your family, your purpose. The lesson here is so deep. Sometimes comfortable forgetfulness is a way bigger threat to your soul than any physical pain. Next up, he's got to face the sirens. Their song promises ultimate knowledge, a temptation that Odysseus, the smartest man alive, just can't resist. But he knows his own weakness. So he has his men plug their ears with wax and then has them tie him to the mast of the ship. This is a huge step in his growth. True intelligence isn't just about being smart. It's about being smart enough to know your own limits. And then comes the ultimate test. He's stranded on an island with the beautiful goddess Calypso, and she offers him literally everything a mortal could ever dream of. A life without death, a life without struggle, without any pain. a perfect paradise. And it's a question we really have to ask ourselves, right? Why would you turn that down? No more storms, no more monsters, just peace and love forever. What could possibly be more valuable than that? And here is the soul of this whole story. Odysseus refuses her offer. He chooses mortality, struggle, and pain because he understands that a life without purpose, without an identity that's tied to his home and his family, well, that's not a life at all. It's just an empty, comfortable eternity. He chooses to be human. After 10 long years of trials and learning, Odysseus finally makes it back to Ithaca. But the final test isn't waiting for him out on the sea. It's waiting for him in his own home. And here's the crucial thing. This is a changed man. The old Odysseus would have rushed in, totally driven by his pride and his rage. But the man who lands back on Ithaca has learned the most important lesson of his entire journey. That true strength, true power, is absolutely useless without patience and strategy. And you can see how he puts this lesson into action. He doesn't just storm the gates, nope. He enters his own home disguised as a beggar. He watches, he waits. He reveals himself not with a boast, but with an act that only he can perform, stringing his great bow. And when he finally strikes, it isn't some wild rampage. It's a calculated, precise reclaiming of his throne. It is his intelligence, finally mastered by humility. So after 3,000 years, why are we still talking about this story? Why does it still feel so relevant to our own lives? Well, it's because the monsters and the gods, they were never really the point. This story endures because it is a map of the human condition. It's about that internal war between our ego and our humility. It's about choosing a life of purpose over a life of just empty comfort. It's about mastering our impulses with our intelligence and about that deep, fundamental human need to find our way home, whatever home really means to us. And that is the ultimate takeaway. The Odyssey teaches us